Hey folks, just wanted to review the two euro trades I took in February. Give you guys the reasonings, kind of why I took the trades, how I entered, how I chose targets, how I chose my stop, and how I also kind of managed the trade throughout. So the first trade that I was taking was based off of the bearish engulfing bar on February 7th. So market took out the previous day's high, closed below the low. So right there, when I see that, I'm looking for a trade short. Okay. Target was picked off of a level here. We had a good reaction down here, and that was based off of a previous resistance. Okay, so that was kind of the market, came up, created a swing point, and then dropped off. And I'm just looking for price to trade back into that level, and that's all. So now all I'm looking for, once I know target and I know the bias, I know I want to look for a short trade. I'm now just looking for how do you get into the market? How do you look for an entry in? Okay, and where do you place stop? So when the market closes on Friday, I notice there's a bit of a level above. Okay, so the market has kind of come into a region here where it's traveled in on Thursday, pushed away, and then you get another retest of it on Friday, and a retest from the underside as well. So that was kind of like the last real swing point that I looked at. Plus you had some price to the left here that created some bar highs and bar lows. So it was a good level, I thought. So that was where I wanted to enter the market at. And then when it came to identifying where am I putting a stop on this trade, it was a matter of normally I'm looking for the candle that breaks the level or one or two back from it. So this candle that broke through the level, the high is basically sitting at entry, so I'm not putting my stop there. The next candle over here, it was into a bit of a flippening area, okay, and into some SR. So I didn't want to be putting my stop there. So you're into a bit of a region here where you got some bar highs, some bar lows, retested as resistance, kind of retest as resistance over here. So I wanted to make sure that I was going to be above this region, because the market, if it was going to squeeze, it potentially could squeeze into that level. So I chose to put my stop above the high up here, and it ended up being at 1.04154 is where I chose my stop. So entry on this, like I said, was green. I chose to enter. It was at 1.0350, and accounting for a little bit of spread is why I entered there. So set the limit order on Sunday when the market opened. Price dropped down. My limit order is set here. And Monday we ultimately trade sideways a little bit, and then Tuesday market pushes back up and kind of in that level. So I get the fill on this candle here. We have a couple of hours of sideways trading, and then we get this big breach of the level. And I'm thinking to myself, oh no, you don't like to see this. So you don't like to be put offside by a big candle like this. It makes me think to myself, like, okay, what's the market really want to do? So I marked out this high on that candle, and I said to myself, if the market comes back, above that level, like if we're going to get an hourly close above that, I'm going to be out regardless. Okay, so I'm watching here. Price goes sideways, and then ultimately the following day we come up and we get a stab into the level, and then price drops back below. Okay, as soon as the market gives me this sweep here at the level, I'm moving my stop down to the high of here. Try to mitigate risk as much as I can, because I'm saying to myself, we've taken out a previous day's high. I really don't want to see the price, travel above this. So what ultimately ends up happening is the next, hour it was a little sideways again, and then we get a drop back below entry. So when we get the drop below entry like this, I'm now saying, okay, market really should go. We sweep the previous day's high, and now we're back below entry level. And then what ends up happening is price retests from the underside and then gets a big blast up here, and then I ultimately get taken out on the trade. So I've done everything I can to kind of manage risk on this trade. The market just didn't want to go to the downside. So I got taken out just a little bit higher than half an hour trade. I think it was a 0.55 hour. I ended up losing on this trade here. So that's kind of how I chose entry, stop, how I managed the trade, and what ultimately ended up happening.